Hey, everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Alison.
Hey now.
Greg, what are you doing here?
Hey, what do you mean? Alison,
Where'd you come from, Greg?
I came from the world of Childish, and I just want to make sure that your listeners know that you're just as wonderful on the other podcast you do.
What if they don't have kids?
Don't need them. You don't need them. A lot of our listeners actually tell us they don't have kids. We talk about sex.
We talk about all sorts of dirty stuff,
Yeah.
but also parenting stuff.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, check out Childish. New episodes every Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Maybe I should have got it fixed.
Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Hey, everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. Daniel and I, my husband Daniel and I, are sitting in the pod cabin, and I'd say we're both a little prickly because we each were just on the receiving end of the full Elliot onslaught. Elliot is our 4-year-old. He is in the why asking questions phase. I'm referring to it as the why asking question phase. I'm not asking why he's in that phase.
It's a Y clone.
Yes. And eventually you get to the point where you're like, just because. And then also you might get a little bit of an edge in your voice, but he doesn't even perceive it, which makes me feel weirdly like I feel weird about that. I feel like, am I being cruel or impatient? I actually don't think I am. I think you are.
Hard.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I think I'm pretty good.
We're both pretty good.
But there's so often when you're just like, stop. You know, I catch myself because I realize it's good. It means he's, you want your kid to be curious.
Yes.
You want him to be. I mean, he's trying to learn as much as he can, and he doesn't know, what things have answers and what things don't have answers.
What happened this morning with Kabuki Theater? Can you explain
Oh
this?
my fucking God. I got up to go to the bathroom, and as per usual,
This is a real problem that's been happening in our marriage and our life.
you were like, well, Elliot had come in, I think, and I was right. I let Wendy out. I forget, whatever. Elliot was with me, and I was going to go to the bathroom. And as I was headed to the bathroom, you announced that you had to go to the bathroom, which, of course, as everybody knows, means that you go to the bathroom first. And so,
In my defense,
it's fine. No. It's you don't need to
Okay.
defend it. It's
Okay.
actually totally fine. It's.
I have.
You don't have
It's
to.
that time
No,
of
no,
the
you don't
month.
ha- it's
so
cool.
I've
It's
got
fine.
accoutrements
It's fine.
that
It's-
live
no
in
one
that
wants it.
bathroom. I'm not as portable as you.
It's fine. It doesn't bother me. But Elliot had already announced, because what he likes to do is he likes to shut the door to the bathroom when I go to the bathroom, and then shut the door to the bedroom. So
He's a real doorman.
he had already announced that he wanted to do this for me, and then you said you needed to use it, and I said, we'll just do a little kabuki theater. But because you get in the habit of saying things the kid won't understand, except he's just entered this phase now where he will ask you about it.
And what you meant by that was you're going to go into the bathroom, pretend you're
Till he leaves,
going to use
and then
it,
you'll
let
come
him
in.
shut the door, and then trade places with me.
Correct. And he was like, what's kabuki theater? And I said, oh, it's a... Sometimes you get
So then
bad
you had to
answers.
lie.
Well, then I was just like, oh, it's just a thing that happens.
It's a thing you do.
It's a thing you do.
Why is it just a thing you do?
Why is it just a thing you do? And then so he goes, I'm like, well, okay. I shut the door at this point. And so he goes out and starts asking Grandma, who has no idea about any of this.
I don't even think she knows what kabuki theater is.
She's just looking. No, well,
the
no.
real definition or the one you gave.
Well, she's looking at him from the kitchen, and he's like, Grandma, what? He didn't know the word
Yeah.
either, so he just it's such garbledy-gook, and she's like, what? And, what's gababadiba? You know, theater. And she's like, I don't. And he's like, the thing you do. And she's just like, no fucking idea.
He gets very frustrated if you don't understand what he's saying.
Which I get it. It's frustrating when people don't understand you. Like, I understand that. So, but he starts melting down. And so I had to come out and tell him, I said, Grandma, it's Kabuki theater. She's like, what's that? I don't know. It was a real, it's a good time.
Does everyone know what kabuki theater means in this sense? Is that even a real thing?
I only
real
know
phrase?
it colloquially. I'm not sure I actually understand what the real thing is. I'll
But you
probably
just
look it up after the show.
Know it from your time in a touring kabuki company?
That's true. Yeah, I was in a kabuki company, but I didn't know what it was.
What was your big show? The Mitten?
I was just on the end. I was on a plate that was being spun on the end of a pole. I was very little.
Daniel, you said garbledy-gook, which should be, it's not the word, but it should be the word. But that reminded me of that Sesame Street song where it sounds like they go, J, Jarl Jam.
Oh, yeah. It's the Sesame Street alphabet. And
So it's like A is for Abby, B is for Bert, C is for Cook. I forget how it goes after that.
H is for happy. I is for J, Jarl Jam. Or J, Jarl Jim is what it sounds like.
Yeah, and it's actually Jar of Jam, but I swear to God, it's
It
Jarl
does not
Jam.
sound like Jar of Jam. It's Jarl Jim.
J. Jarl Jim.
That is not Jar of Jam. It's Jarl Jim.
That was Jarl Jim, and you'll never.
J, Jarl Jim.
Here,
Shut up.
here, replay.
Ernie.
I is for insect. J. Jarl Jim.
He even laughs as if to say, "I know this is Jarl Jim."
I think what he's saying is Jar a Jam. He's like Jar a Jam. He's not pronouncing the F, so that's why it's weird.
Like jar apostrophe
Jar,
jam.
yeah, Jar a Jam.
Got it. So anyway, Daniel,
Yeah.
how are you doing other than all that?
Well, I mean, it's. I'm on edge. I got to tell you, I'm on edge.
Yeah, I feel that.
I think I was fine, but the whole just trying to sit down and record it just felt impossible. We had the guy in here. We were going to do a little opening with him, and it was going to be cute. But it's just like, and he is, folks. He's cute, but it's. I mean, to us anyway.
I think he's cute to everyone.
I don't know.
You don't want to. You got to ride that line because you don't want to be those people who are forcing your cute kid down everyone else's throat.
But also, I mean, okay, of course, I believe that everything he does is super cute, but nobody else's 4-year-old is cute to me. Really.
I don't think that's
that's
true.
an exaggeration. There's a couple people we know who's legitimately cute, but for the most part, like 95%
Most people have eyes.
of other 4-year-olds are just like, okay, you got okay. But to them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't assume that but whatever. But it's just like,
it's relentless.
it's relentless. Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? And it's just, it puts me in a state of insanity.
It's also like it pours molasses onto everything.
Yeah. Oh, you can't have a conversation.
You can't move or you can't get anywhere.
I mean,
anywhere you're trying
he's
to go.
constantly interrupting.
We're complaining about a 4-year-old.
But it's just like it's crazy making.
We
like,
are complaining about a 4-year-old, Daniel.
where else am I going to complain about it? All right,
I
except
don't
to the
know.
world on a podcast.
We sound ridiculous.
But like I'm, trying to have a conversation with you or my mom, and it's just like you get 2 words out. Oh, speaking of another,
Wendy has entered the chat. So anyway, I thought it'd be fun to let Elliot sit in at the very beginning of the show because I recently recorded a Patreon with him, a Patreon episode where he was at the beginning of it. And I thought that it was going to be, it might not be to everyone's taste, but people roundly really loved it and found it to be very sweet and cute and entertaining, unless they're lying to me. So I thought, you know what, let's just do like a minute with him at the top. But then we decided to once we got him back in the house, we started over because we thought we can't do that to you guys. Even though a good portion of you would think it's cute, but there are some, I think, who might just be like, this is it's a little much. So
Yeah, I just felt like it scrambled my brain, so I'm still trying to get back on track.
Wait, why is Wendy in here? She doesn't know how to sit there quietly while we have a
She
podcast.
has in the past.
No, she doesn't. She begins loudly eating her vagina and trying to dig a
she
hole
won't.
in the carpet.
She won't. Well, I mean, she might.
Should we share the sad? It's okay. But we received some Wendy news, which is making me personally sad. I think Daniel a little bit, although he seems to be processing it better. I have to tell you guys, though, everything is okay. So if you felt like, when you heard that, don't you worry. Here's the deal. She's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. They get mitral valve disease. It's very, very common in the breed. We've known that she had a heart murmur a while ago, but it was just like in its very early stages. And we have been a little bit overdue for getting another echocardiogram to see, because they're very expensive, to see how it's progressed. And so we just took her in, and unfortunately it has progressed. I think I had this fantasy. I had a few fantasies. I had this fantasy that, one, she wouldn't develop this thing that they all develop. And number two, that, well, maybe she'll develop it, but it'll stay really minor. She's doing the vagina eating.
Yeah, but they can't hear it.
Do you guys hear this?
No, it's more like this. No, you can get it right.
So anyway, so it has progressed, and her heart is a little bit enlarged, and they say it is time to put her on heart medication. And it used to be that they only recommended heart medication when they were actually in congestive heart failure. And I thought, if you're in heart failure, well, you're basically like, you got a few days left because that means your heart's not working. But that's not how it is. Apparently you can like live for
I think the
stretch
word
of time.
failure throws you off, because when I think failure, that means
Yeah.
not working.
Right.
And so that's not what's happening. Her heart, when it's in quote failure, isn't not working. It's just not
Working well.
working the right way.
Yeah.
Or as optimally or whatever.
So long story short, at this point, she has about 2 years until she's in heart failure. However, with these drugs that we're going to start her on, it gives her about 3.3 years. So then she'll be in heart failure. And then at that point, there's different drugs, I think, or maybe it's the same, I don't know, that there's drugs that can give them about a year to a year and a half more. So it's as if we've looked into a crystal ball, and we now know that basically she's got about 4.5 years left. Mm-hmm. It could go faster, but pretty much this is how it goes. And given that she's a Cavalier and that they have like a pretty specific lifespan, I never really thought she was going to. I've always felt like, well, when we first got her, I had this fantasy that because she has some people, she has some like, maybe not people in her family, or I don't know, that have made people. She has people in her family, dogs in her family that have made it to like 15 or 16, which is kind of unheard of. And I was in such grief, and I wanted to believe so bad that I was like, maybe there's a chance. But aside from that, I have always felt like I just hope she makes it to like 10 or 11. 10, 11, or 12. That's what they usually make it to, and I hope she gets that far. That's what I expect. And so now we haven't found anything that alters that timeline. We haven't found out anything. It's just been confirmed. And the vet that I was talking to, who was really nice, the cardiologist, she's like, she will make it into the double digits. So this is all it's slow moving. So I don't know why I still feel as if I received bad news. I think it's just the confirmation of like, oh, this is happening. This bad thing is happening.
And being given like, okay, it's this many years, and then for that many years to be like, oh, so doesn't feel like that that long.
It does and it doesn't, because when I think 4 years, well, that's back to before we had Elliot.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel like that long to me.
To me, that feels like a long. To me, before we had Owen, feels
Yeah,
like a
but
long
to me,
time.
it doesn't.
Well, I know, but this is, to me, is
Yeah,
your new
but
best
to me
friend.
is what I'm saying.
Well, this is how we do it. I share my thoughts, and then you share yours, and then I cut
Is
you
that,
off.
though, actually?
So anyway, it's really, I think it's bringing up old dog trauma.
Trauma about old dogs?
No,
It is
we've
kind of
never had.
old dog trauma.
Yeah. I've never got to experience old dog trauma. I've only had young dog trauma. But anyway, you know, I was very devastated when we found out she had a heart murmur. And I was looking at some of the worst case scenarios then, and that was very upsetting. And then I really was able to put it out of my head. And I think that's sort of how this will be. Like, we just got to digest this new info. And then I'll be able to put it out of my head, because she doesn't have any symptoms yet. And also, just to pat ourselves on the back, she is just under 19 pounds, which is,
Her ideal weight, I guess.
they said she is in ideal body condition. As someone with body issues myself, I've never been in ideal body condition. So kudos, Wendy, on your diet. She was like 27 or 28 pounds when we started her on this diet,
I know.
2 years
You
ago.
really- good job.
Yeah, and also thank you, Laura London, for being so harsh and abrasive and aggressive in telling me that we need to put her on a diet, because it really got through to me. And I think once the heart situation becomes bad, which is sort of where it is now, or exacerbated, you really don't want extra weight on your dog, because that puts more strain on it. I don't know. So anyway, that's where that is. So I'm a little bit, it feels like a little bit of a morose feeling, but I'm going to snap out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always it's just sad to realize that we're immortal.
We
And
or
dogs-
they?
Well, all of us, but
Yeah.
when you have dogs or cats, it's just like this. What is it? Who is it? George Carlin said it's you buy a dog and it's this countdown to misery. Maybe that was Louis C.K.
I don't think it was Carlin. Maybe it
It might
was.
have been. It might have been Louis.
Yeah.
But it is. It's countdown to misery. It's just you're buying a lot of love and a lot of great things that come with it, but you also buy that heartbreak at the end. So I was talking to my dad once after one of his dogs passed away, and he was just like, and he's had a lot of dogs. He's like, I can't do it anymore.
Oh. Was that Paloma or Nugget?
No, it was Olivia's dog. I forget the name. Marvin. Marvin. When he died, he's like, I can't do it. I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. It's hard. I don't know.
that pet loss support group we went to, I think we were the only ones in that group who already had a new pet. A lot of people, maybe that's the thing that happens when they die old. A lot of people have this feeling of like, I can't do it
a lot
just yet.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people also will
Get a
overlap.
new one right away. Yeah.
or they'll plan ahead.
All right. So should we listen to a voicemail?
Yeah.
I say let's do it.
Hi, Alison. Hi, Daniel. This is Nick from San Jose, currently in Ukiah, California. I drove up here to visit a friend for the first time since the lockdown started, because we're both all vaxxed, and that's great. But she's not home.
No.
I got here, I knocked on the door, and there was no response. So I went to an In-N-Out, and I'm going to go home. Otherwise, great day. Pleasant drive. So, yeah, have fun. All right, anyway, this is Nick from San Jose. Bye.
Nick from San Jose, thank you for doing the name sandwich. Daniel loves that.
Yeah.
Letting us know who it is at the end. I have a question, which is, did she know you were visiting her, or was it a surprise visit?
That's the risk if you don't announce it.
But I think it sounds like he did announce it. He didn't say it was a surprise visit.
Yeah, if he did tell his friend, did he say it was
Yeah, she.
that he was coming, then what's up with that?
What is up with that? Although we do have to give her grace I feel like that's the new
I
word.
don't feel like we have grace. to
Well, if we
give.
had, are we? Oh, do we not have any? We're out of our last grace to give.
Mm-hmm.
We bundled it with all the fucks that we're out of.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like grace is for a while now has been the buzzword for what we are extending to people who do shit like this. It's new for all of us to have plans again, so maybe she, got confused on her calendar or something. Listen, someone else has called. Let's listen.
Alison, this is Jesse in Louisiana. What's up, best friend? I'm here at the gym, but it's turned into a daycare ever since school let out. Screw, kid! Love you, best friend. Bye.
I used to my dad used to take me to the gym with him, and they would have like a little daycare room. Mm-hmm. While he would go play racquetball, which is such a 80s thing to do.
Play racquetball?
Yeah, my dad and my stepmom would play racquetball all the time. But I would, it's just like a room with some toys, It's basically just like a locker room for the kids. Not, whatever. Kind of boring. Like what?
Did they wear wrist? What are those things called? Not wrist guards, but wristbands and headbands in the full 80s.
So. Well, I never really saw them
Did they do
play.
deals?
I never got to the gym was a really exotic place to go as a kid. Lots of all the different rooms. Just the fact that there was a room you go into before you go into the room.
The locker room.
Yeah, you go through the locker room, and then the locker room just felt very exotic and weird.
With all those penises.
Well, yeah, it's just this place where people just are walking around, but also there in his locker room they had a cold plunge and a hot tub.
Was this like an Equinox?
Well, I mean, I think it was called Tucson Racket Club.
Okay.
This would have been back in 86.
Yeah, the height of racquetball.
Oh yeah. My stepmom apparently won a trophy for racquetball. They were into it.
What kind of trophy? Was there a tournament?
Yeah, it was
oh my God.
a club-wide tournament, and she won it. And she got a trophy.
Was the logo for Tucson Racket Club 2 rackets making a little X?
No, well, maybe. I think it was just a person, with the racket extended.
Got it.
High, waiting to clobber the hell out of that ball. But I was always just fascinated by these little swimming pools that were in the locker room. It's a bathroom that has its own swimming pools, but they are very uncomfortable pools because it's ice cold and I don't know.
It's still there. Tucson Racket Club, tennis and fitness.
Yeah.
Over the okay, let's see.
I'm sure it's a lot different now. I mean, that was
Tucson Racket and Fitness Club. And it's just taking too long to pull anything up, so I don't care about it anymore.
35 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
It was said over the past 30 years, and then I didn't see what else it said. Great content. Daniel, what is the point of racquetball? Because in the movies, which is the only place I've ever seen it, it's just two people hitting a ball against a wall, and it goes.
The point of racquetball is to complain about a situation with another dude friend of yours.
All right.
That's it. That's the name of the game. But
how do you?
What do you mean?
Get
What's the point? What's the objective?
How does the
same way with tennis, where the other person can't get to the ball, but you have to it's a little. Well, I don't know if it's faster.
But you're both on the same side.
Yeah, well, instead of being on opposite sides, you have a wall bouncing it back.
I see. So you're trying to bounce it against the wall in a way that it comes out and they can't grab it.
Yeah, you're in a cube.
Yeah.
And so it can bounce off the walls.
Oh,
so
any walls?
Sure.
The ceiling even?
Yeah, well, I mean, the ceiling's pretty high, so I don't think it's going to bounce off the ceiling.
Well, then I guess it's not a cube.
No, it's a cube. It's this. No, you're right. It's not a cube. What do you call a rectangular cube? What's a 3-dimensional rectangle?
Just like a racquetball court.
I mean, I'm sure there's a word for it, right? A box. It's a box.
I guess. I don't know. I get what you're saying, though, and I hope someday we can play this. I feel like you have to sweat a lot, though. Is it?
Jesus Christ! Of course, it's exercise. What kind of sport do you like where you don't sweat?
I like to ride the bike.
Right. Yes, when you riding the bike, it's not breaking a sweat.
No, but what I'm saying is, it seems that the amount that people sweat during racquetball in the movies is more than any other
it's
activity.
Good exercise.
Listen, Daniel.
People do it for exercise. That's why they do it. They want to sweat.
I'm just saying, it seems like, boy, do they sweat. It's almost like hot yoga or something.
You know what? It gets hot in those boxes.
It's interesting that Keith Raniere is so into volleyball because he puts off a real racquetball vibe.
Also,
Keith
he
Raniere,
seems short. Didn't he seem short? He seemed like
I
a
think
short
he is
guy.
short.
Yeah. Why? Maybe
Why?
that's why he's into volleyball, because he knows that it's like not a sport for short guys.
Oh, maybe he's overcompensating.
No, I have no idea. It was weird.
Yeah.
Look, volleyball is a lot of fun, but it just is an odd choice.
I'm just saying he puts out sweaty racquetball vibes more than he does sweaty volleyball vibes.
I guarantee you that guy was into racquetball at a certain point.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Daniel,
Yes, my love.
have you noticed how good my skin looks lately?
Actually, I did notice. And it looks really, you look really good. Your freckles are lighter, I've noticed.
It's not the freckles, it's the dark spots.
Well,
You call them,
I call
calling
them
them freckles.
but
yeah.
what is it, sun damage?
That's right. That's what it is. And then also, I would say my fine lines are lessened to a degree. And here's the thing, though, about that question. And this is no longer part of the read. This is just something I'm saying to you. In saying yes, you're acknowledging that you noticed that it wasn't up to snuff before. And I don't know how I feel about that. You, what? You've walked right in on that. Listen, Daniel, I think you actually know why it's looking so good lately. It is because I am using prescription skincare treatments from Apostrophe. They basically provide what am I saying? Tony, take that out. I'm sorry. This is such a mess. Did you know, Daniel, most home remedies and over-the-counter acne products don't work, and even worse, they can really damage your skin. I had tried, back in my acne days, I tried so many different things. But you know what does actually work? Prescription treatments, and that's why we're excited to partner with Apostrophe, the sponsor of this episode. Apostrophe is a prescription skincare company that offers science-backed oral and topical medications that are clinically proven to help clear acne. Apostrophe connects you with a board-certified dermatologist who will create a personalized treatment plan that is perfectly tailored to your unique skin. So I have been wanting to try Retin A for a while. Did you ever try Retin A back in the day?
No.
It's one of the many things they prescribe for acne.
I didn't have acne, so.
Yeah. I did a little bit. I never did Retin A, though, but I had heard now as an older lady, that makes me sound older than I am, but, you know, as an adult, Retin A, I'd heard that it's like this miracle cure-all cream kind of for all sorts of things that affect our skin as we age. So I was very curious about it. And so I was very, very excited to try it through Apostrophe because it's so easy. You just go online, fill out a questionnaire, take some picture, a forward-facing picture, and then one of the right side of your face, one of the left side of your face, submit it, and then very quickly they write you back saying that a doctor has reviewed this and has come up with a treatment plan. They prescribed me tretinoin, which is generic Retin A, and then a skin bleaching cream. And I have been using those since Christmas, and it is really making a difference. What?
You've been using them to keep yourself from having to go outside and do anything outside. That's what you've been using them for.
Okay, this is true. I will say to Daniel, hey, Daniel, could you grab something outside because I don't have sunscreen on yet, and, you know, I'm using these creams on my face, and it's
I'm not supposed to get any sunlight on my face because of the Retin A. Do this series of chores outside, please.
It's okay if I have sun protection on, but when I don't yet have sun protection on, then they also send you...
Soon they'll invent one that keeps you from being able to do anything inside, too. Well, you already have that. It's your hands.
That's right, honey. So anyway, and I just had a consult, and I requested a stronger strength, stronger concentration. She prescribed it. These are still pretty weak concentrations, because I don't need the full. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I'm working my way up to it. They start you on a lower concentration, then as you sort of go into the higher ones. I'm just saying it's super easy. And someone told me I've never looked younger. I look 12, you guys. We have a special deal for our audience. Save $15 off your first visit with a board-certified dermatologist at apostrophe.com/bestfriend when you use our code BESTFRIEND. This code is only available to our listeners. To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/bestfriend and click Begin Visit. Then use our code BESTFRIEND at sign up and you'll get $15 off your dermatology visit. That's apostrophe, APOSTROPHE.com/bestfriend and use that code BESTFRIEND to get your dermatology visit and save $15. And we thank Apostrophe for sponsoring the podcast. Okay, we're back. Listen, Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen to another message.
Okay.
Hi, Alison. It's Amy. Longtime listener since like 2013, I want to say. So lately I've been feeling pretty optimistic with COVID and stuff. I'm ready to go and mingle. We have a birthday party for my kids this weekend. I'm so happy it won't be like such a looming thing. Just right now, just trying to buy a house in this market is a little bit crazy. We've made 2 offers on houses offering $50K over asking, and we have not gotten an offer accepted yet. But other than that, feeling good. Love your show. Thanks for everything you do. Bye.
Oh, boy.
Yes, I've heard this housing market is insane. It's enough to make us almost want to buy a house, except then not buy a house, sell our house, except then where would we live?
Right.
But except for that, it would be a good time to sell.
If you thought that the market would collapse, then you could sell now and then go rent for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it drops, buy again, I guess. That would be a risk, though. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that at least in LA, I don't know if the housing market's going to collapse. The commercial real estate is going to collapse, but not.
I'm wondering if rent is real high, too. If it's too damn high.
Yeah, I think it is too damn high. Everything's too damn high. That's why you have so many homeless people out there. LA has no affordable housing.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's really gotten terrible. Something's got to be done about that.
I think unhoused is what you're supposed to say.
Unhoused.
Mm-hmm.
But why is homeless more like
I had a conversation about this
offensive
recently.
than unhoused?
I had a conversation about this recently with Greg Heller. Now, this is
homeless
just
seems pretty inoffensive to me.
This is just my guess, so I could be wrong. I don't know that the word itself.
It's the association with the word.
Right. I think it's just like, let's shake loose this word that has this stigma.
Okay. So
because
unhoused.
I think the idea is homeless is an identity, unhoused suggests
that they have,
a state like
that they would have a house if they could. They've been unhoused, like it's something that's happened to them. It implies that
it's conditional.
Yeah, but it also implies that something needs to be fixed. Like people should not be. It's like it implies that it's been done against their will, which is the case.
Interesting.
They've been on. You are unhoused. You've been dehomified. You didn't lose your house or something. It's
right.
Like it's something that happened. And I guess if you've lost your job and there's no affordable housing. I like what they did in Austin. The city bought a bunch of hotels and just.
My sense is that it's more like unhoused this is just a temporary state you're in right now. It doesn't define you.
Yeah, whatever.
But I think actually if you were to drill down on the actual words, homeless could also be described as a temporary state.
There's
but
an association.
There's
nothing
baggage.
Inherently offensive about hobo. It's just that you don't want to use the word hobo because there's, you think, they've obviously got a knapsack and they're scrawling symbols on people's fence posts.
I didn't used to think the symbols thing until I found out about hobo code on this very show.
Hobo code's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real. I know, but I'm saying when I thought hobo, I thought soot on their face, stick and a knapsack,
shoe soup,
and like, you know, stowaway on a train and stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't think hobo code until the Mad Men episode, which then led me to discover it's a real thing.
Yeah. Yep.
What did you always think hobo code? And then also
I always think hobo code.
Only because all of you guys so strongly made me think this. I didn't used to, but also the idea of stealing a pie out of a windowsill. But to me, the problem with a pie in a windowsill is birds pecking at it.
Well, birds are a problem, but also hobos.
I never thought hobos.
Yeah.
You know who I'm picturing, actually? I'm picturing the Hamburglar from McDonald's. Does he wear like who's the one who looks like the Lone Ranger? The eye mask.
Hamburglar.
Yeah. I'm picturing the Hamburglar. That's getting crossed in my head with hobo. They both start with H.
That's weird. They have
Did
nothing to do with each other.
Did you catch shit for using the term hobo on the show? Because you have used it before.
Oh, probably. I mean, are there even any hobos now to take offense, to be like, I feel like it's a relic of the past. When I think hobo, I don't think of anything that exists today. I think of something that existed during the Great Depression or something.
Well, you know that song Hobo's Lullaby that I want played at my funeral? Even though, should the song you have played at your funeral be related to you somehow, or should it just be a song you like?
Who cares? I'll be dead. Go ahead.
I know, but you're going to be dead at my funeral?
Mm-hmm. You're going to outlive
Rude.
me.
I mean, I probably will, yeah.
But my part of my dying wish is assuming you're still alive when I die, for them to exhume my body and present it at your funeral. So in the front row.
But I'm not going to.
Sit my moldering corpse in the front row at your funeral. So
are you just trying to upstage?
You can't say no to a dying wish.
Are you trying to upstage me, or are
Yes.
you're trying to upstage me?
No,
so
I just
that
want to be there. I want to be there, honey, and to pay my respects.
because I feel like what you're doing. Okay, so you know, my younger sister growing up was like the cutest child in the entire.
She's still your younger sister.
But yeah, I know. But
She was also your younger sister when you were growing up.
right, just the cutest child in the whole world. This is gonna sound like a Nikki Glazer bit, and I just want everyone to know I'm older than Nikki, and I've been telling this story for way longer. So
Accusing her of ripping off.
no, I'm not. I just don't want people to know that I'm not ripping her off. We bonded. I think we bonded over having the world's cutest sisters ages ago. But so anyway, they'd just comment on my sister, and then they'd see like, "Oh my god, oh my cute," and then see me and be like, "Oh, and you're cute too." And I was like fat and had crooked teeth at this point, and I was just
You're
not
cute in your way.
It was like worse than if they hadn't said anything. So anyway, I feel like if we sit your decomposing body, prop it up in the front row of my funeral, what we're going to get is like, we are gathered here today to pay respects to the dearly departed and also that dearly departed,
Yep.
you know,
That's
and
good.
like,
Don't forget about this
we
one.
remember her as she always, and he
So wait,
did
you
too.
think though, if that happened,
Yeah.
people would notice? I just don't think anyone would care.
Because everyone's going to be that old at that
yeah,
point
everyone will be. Yeah, exactly. Everyone will be that old at that point.
in the audience.
No, but it's just like they're not going to. They'll be in their own head, is what I'm saying. Everyone's up in their own head all the time. They'll be on Instagram doing reels and stuff. Oh, but this will be in the future, so whatever. They'll be doing live virtual TikTok, you know, augmented reality, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They won't even know I'm there.
I don't think you're right.
Well, I don't know.
It's really not my decision. But if it were, I would say no. Daniel stays in the ground. There shall be no. Oh, get this, honey.
What?
My dying wish is that you're not exhumed and brought to my funeral.
How does that get? Does that get resolved in the dead's wishes court?
We're gonna need a deceased lawyer. Two
Like
of
a
them.
special macabre court where they resolve conflicting final
Dying
wishes.
wishes. Yeah. Boy.
I'm not. By the way, I do not subscribe to this idea that all persons' final wishes need to be honored in all cases. Like, I think that.
But interesting. You don't? Because I feel like you just really put a lot of pressure on whoever's handling my funeral.
Well,
Which is going to be our kid. It's going to be Mr. Y.
They're gonna
But
have to
why?
enter-
Why do I have to exhume? What does exhume mean? How did they do it?
All right.
Why do they bury you?
They're going to have to enter this audio into the record for when they're trying to figure this out. Not my problem. I'll be dead. So, but here's the thing. They're dead. You don't get to like, if it's something that doesn't really hurt anything, you can do it fine. But if someone's final wishes are going to like severely inconvenience people and is, not, it's like you don't get to like manipulate people beyond the grave.
That's a question I have for you guys. Have you ever been severely inconvenienced by someone's dying wish? Let us know. You can contact us, ARIYMBF, on Twitter or ARIYMBFshow@gmail.com. Oh, obviously you could call in 323-553-2331. So listen, we have a DCB segment, which I'm eager to hear. I also put together...
I thought it was DKB.
It is DKB. I also put together a little quiz, Daniel, for a different show.
How exciting for the other show.
Yeah, well, it was an episode of this show, but we didn't get to it. But I thought, you know what? I could give it to you. That would be fun.
Sure.
Let me just take a moment first to talk about Patreon.
Love Patreon.
Patreon's the best. Patreon.com/
I feel like
Alison Rosen. Yes.
So I'm sure they didn't know that. Folks, if you're not on Patreon, what are you doing with your life? It's fun. I subscribe to so many different things, and you get like this like cool access to people, and it just feels like you're in I don't know, like the VIP room.
That's right. You could be in the VIPest of the rooms. Actually, that's not true. It's not the VIPest, but it's definitely a VIP room on my Patreon. Again, patreon.com/
It's like
Rosen.
we
Hang
love all
on.
our listeners, but we love our Patreon listeners a little bit more. Let's just be
No,
honest.
that's not
little
true.
bit. A little bit.
No, that's not true. We love all of them the same, but we appreciate the support from the patrons. And also, Daniel.
All right, I'm speaking for myself.
Okay, you can. I love them all the same, regardless of whether they bone up for Patreon or not. But it's fun.
If you can't afford it, then in that case, I love you just as much. But if you can't afford it and you're just holding out,
Oh yeah, what are you doing?
what the hell, man? Or
Bonus weekly
Or they.
bonus episodes, Zoom parties, access to the videos, and if you're at the confidant and above level, and yes, they all have cutesy friendshipy names. If you're at the confidant and above level, you can text me and I'll text you back. And recently, I shared some gossip about someone, and I wouldn't name this person, but I said, if you're at the tech line, you text me, I'll tell you who it
Hot
is.
goss.
Almost everyone wanted to know. Yeah. So anyway, this quiz.
Do you wanna
I
do
thought
that?
it
Okay.
might be fun. Yeah.
All
I thought it might be fun to do this news quiz. Now, Daniel,
news quiz.
guess what? It's not multiple choice. It's just fill in the blank.
Ba-bum, 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 bum, 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 bum.
It's the news with Alison. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Brings you news.
It's the news with Alison. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Breaking news.
Okay, Daniel. Let's find out who paid attention to the news this past week.
Oh, this is like, wait, don't tell me.
Yes, it is.
But this is, what's your version of wait, don't tell me?
It's my version is hang on, maybe I know that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
catchy.
This is called Hang On, Maybe I Know That.
All right.
It's a production of Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend Studios, hosted by Alison Rosen.
Financed by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the Carnegie
Carnegie.
and
Bobbity
Hutchinson,
boopity boo.
monies of rich people.
So our contestants today are Daniel Quantz.
Hey, everybody. Great to be here.
Oh, is this not? Yeah. Okay, so anyway, listen,
I don't
Daniel.
know. I've never listened to this shit.
There was an article in
I'm sure they're
Newsweek this week about a girl who was vacationing. She posted this on TikTok. She was vacationing in Maryland, and someone tried to open her hotel room door from the outside using a scary wire device, and she was able to keep him out using this one phrase. This one phrase saved her. What was the phrase?
The phrase was, I'm in here watching Star Wars.
Explain how that.
Well,
would,
maybe she assumed that the guy wasn't into Star Wars. I don't know.
I'm sorry, that's wrong. What it was is she was alone.
By the way, I got Star Wars on the mind.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, but go ahead.
She was alone, but she yelled, "Hey!" So she was talking to the guy through the door, and he said he was here to fix the door, but she knew he wasn't because he was in flip flops and not wearing Hilton attire. And she yelled, "Hey, Dad! There's someone here to fix the door," making it seem like she wasn't alone.
That's smart. That's like the thing if you're a single gal, you have a house,
Put big shoes in the front.
big dirty shoes out in the front.
Put some kind of ginormous galoshes out there, and a jarled gym.
Yeah, Jarl Gym.
Okay, number 2.
Someone should sell those
Jarled gyms,
big
giant.
men's shoes.
Yeah, I mean,
a pair of
maybe
big,
Nordstrom
dirty
or
shoes.
something.
I suppose you could just go to Goodwill or something.
But you could really go anywhere that sells shoes, honey.
No, but you want them broken in is the point.
I see.
You don't want a brand new white pair of shoes. That would be a little obvious.
I don't know.
You've got to.
You really think that someone who's coming to do nefarious things is going to be like, these shoes are brand new? This is bullshit.
No, you have to. You have to think about why the shoes are outside.
Because they have been pummeling bad guys?
No, because they're wet or they're got mud or something on them. So you have to have them be that way. You can't just have any old pair of shoes out there. Then it's going to be almost a tell.
I just disagree that the bad guy is doing as much, deductive reasoning. But I could be wrong. Okay, number 2. Real Simple magazine ran an article with the headline, 6 habits that are secretly making us irritable. I'm going to tell you 5, and you try to guess the one that I'm leaving out.
Habits that are making us irritable, okay?
Yeah, secretly making us irritable. Irritable. 1, snacking on the wrong food. 2, drinking too close to bedtime. Well, 3 is the one I'm not reading. So 4, not enough exercise. 5, skipping lunch. 6, forgetting to give yourself love. And they're not talking about a hand job that you give yourself. They're talking about self-care. So what did they leave out? What's a habit that is secretly making us irritable?
Staying up too late, not getting enough sleep.
That is so good. And I don't know why that's not in here, but that's not it. I'm going to give you a point anyway.
Secretly making us irritable. Well, social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. You have a point. Good job. Okay. Now here's one. I feel like I might have casually discussed this one with you.
Okay.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres recently purchased something that she had previously owned.
Oh, I already know the answer to this one.
Okay, what is it?
It's a home that she had sold.
Yes.
And then she rebought it at a lot of money.
Yeah. She bought Rancho San Leandro in Montecito. It's next door to Oprah. In 2017 for $7.2 million. In 2018 she sold it for $11 million, and she just bought it back for $14.3 million.
But she lost money.
Yeah. This is not the first time
Weird.
she's done this though. She did this with another house too. What is she doing?
It's weird. Any profit she made in the sale in the first place, she lost buying it back.
I'm just confused on the buying it back because now it's decorated with the other person's crap.
Well, that's not a problem for her. She's at the point where she's got so much fucking money, none of this matters. She's not
She's not
thinking of these as investments. She's just trying to stash her money.
Yeah.
Because
All right, 2 more questions.
who knows?
Okay. Here's an article from, I think it's from The Atlantic. Yes, The Atlantic.
Okay.
With the headline, "The body's most embarrassing organ is an evolutionary marvel." And yet we have very little idea where blank come from. What is the organ they're talking about? What is
Most
the-
embarrassing
Yeah, what is the most embarrassing organ?
organ.
Yeah.
And we don't know where they come from? What's the rest of it?
Apparently, yeah. This is the subhead. And yet we have very little idea where blank come from.
This is easy.
What is it?
Knees.
I'm sorry.
That's not it?
It's not knees, no.
Embarrassing organ. Nipples?
Oh, that's so good. No. I feel like you're missing the obvious one.
Eyes.
No, it's the anus.
That's an organ?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What'd you think it was?
I didn't think of it as an organ. I guess. Yeah.
And yet we have very little. The body's most embarrassing organ is an evolutionary marvel, and yet we have very little idea where anuses come from. And see, the photo is a lovely cat butt.
But what do they mean where it comes from?
I don't know. I didn't read the article.
It's not like your organ's all like, well, this organ came from Saskatchewan. You get this organ. This one originates from Nigeria. This one is from, it's like.
I think they mean they don't know how it evolved to be on your hiney. I don't know. Okay. And lastly, so you have 1 point,
Okay.
but you're doing great.
I mean, technically I have 2 because you gave me an extra point.
Oh yeah, you have 2 points. You're doing great, Daniel.
I'm winning.
If I really had my shit together, initially this was going to be played when there was a lot of people.
Okay.
Okay. Article from CNN. A 2-year-old from California is the youngest American to become a member of what group that is normally just for adults, I think?
The Star Wars fan club.
No.
Mensa.
Yes, that's right.
I feel like, is
Kashi.
Mensa a legit organization, though? It feels like Mensa is one of those things where it's like, you're a genius if you get into Mensa. It's like, are you, though?
I don't know. I'm eligible to get in based just on my SAT scores, and I feel like, really?
You're no genius.
Thank you. Kasha Quest may be a 2-year-old, but her skills include naming all of the elements on the periodic table, identifying all 50 states by shape and location, learning Spanish, and deciphering
she's
patterns, according to her parents. She's 2.
And she can do all the Jesus.
I know, that's crazy.
That's pretty. Yeah.
Owen knows colors, and I'm proud of him.
Oh,
But you know what he doesn't know is he doesn't seem to get. Well, first of all, he calls both you and me daddy. And he goes, I do it, which is so cute. But then I'll say, are you going to do it, Owen? He goes, I do it, Owen.
He's just learning words. He's
not in Mensa, let's just say.
That kid ain't joining Mensa anytime soon.
He might one day.
I don't know. But is that, who cares?
Well, if we want him to meet Kasha Quest, Kasha.
I don't want him to. I don't want him to be with a smart girl.
Why? You wanted to follow in Dad's footsteps?
It's you're so much happier being with a dum-dum. Trust me, I'm with this.
But I'm not happy.
No, I'm with a smart girl.
Oh, I see. Explain.
It's a recipe for misery.
Why?
Because you're always thinking about things. And it's like, stop. Just stop thinking about stuff all the time.
You mean worrying?
I don't know, just thinking. Sometimes it's just, stop having thoughts all the time.
I was reading about most intelligent dog breeds and least intelligent dog breeds today. And I was thinking, and I don't know where, Cavaliers are neither most nor least. But I was thinking, do you really want a smart dog? It's sort of like you want a car that can do all sorts of stuff, but you don't really,
I've heard that's a little bit of a, not really it's
accurate.
True that breeds are naturally smarter than other breeds, but No, unless you have a farm.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't get a sheepdog unless I had something for them to herd. Because they still have the instinct to do that. They'll be bored.
Well, it's interesting because bloodhounds, basset hounds, beagles are low on the list. Like there's some dum-dums of the dog world, according to what I was reading. And they are scent. I don't know if beagle is, so maybe take beagle out of that. But the bloodhound and basset hound, they're scent hounds, and they are more interested in tracing a scent than in like listening to you and being trained by you. But I don't know that should really be
Unless you
considered.
talk in smells.
If you have incredible breath or something, then they might be interested in you.
Like,
but
you know how they have sign language for people who can't hear? They have Braille for people who can't see.
I'm aware of this, yes.
But do they have a language for people who can only smell? Like a scent-based language?
No, but they should.
I'm going to invent it, and then they'll name it after me.
Do it.
I just did. So,
I feel like it'd be real crude.
do you speak Quants?
Crude and is this the Quants method for smelling?
No. It's just...
The Quants method for communicating via smell?
Yeah.
Listen, Daniel.
What?
If there's ever been a year to make the dads in your life feel loved and appreciated on Father's Day, it's this one. I am honoring my dad. Well, I already honored him with this, but you guys can go ahead and honor your dads with this thing that I'm going to tell you about, which is one of my favorite products that has come on the show. Product/service. It is a heartfelt, sentimental gift the whole family can cherish forever. It's called Storyworth. And every time I talk about it on the show, people get it for their family members and then they contact me and tell me it was such a hit. Storyworth is an online service that helps your dad, grandfather, father-in-law, every father figure in your life share stories through thought-provoking questions about their memories and personal thoughts. It's a fun new way to engage with them, especially if you can't be together in person. So you sign up, they are sent a story prompt each week, and there's a whole list of amazing story prompts, and you can actually customize it. You can take out some, you can add some of your own. I just chose from the ones that they had provided because I thought they were so good. And then at the end of a year, all of the stories that have been sent in or called in or however your gift recipient wants to do it, are collected in a beautiful hardbound book, and you have a book of this person's memories. And I've shared this before, but my dad is someone who I could have sworn I have heard every single one of his dad's stories. I mean, multiple times. And yet I gave this to him and I discovered things about him that I never knew. It's really mind-blowing, and it's really just, it works so well. It's such a powerful experience. Give your dad the most meaningful gift this Father's Day with Storyworth. Get started right away with no shipping required by going to storyworth.com/bestfriend. You'll get $10 off your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/bestfriend for $10 off. Again, storyworth.com/bestfriend for $10 off. I think it's probably time to do DQB. But first, I neglected to mention with Patreon that if you sign up for an annual subscription, you get 2 months free. So if you like a deal, sign up for an annual subscription, you get 12 months for the price of 10. Also, normally at the beginning of this show, if we had a guest, I would have chatted with Tony and I would have given him the update that I've now hung out with my new friend, Mary Lynn Rice Cub, twice. Previously, it was just once, but now it's twice. Listen, I know you think I shouldn't talk publicly about it. I know you think it's thirsty, but here's the deal. You're friends with me, you're friends with everyone that listens to my show.
Yeah.
It's a communal experience. I think she's on board for that.
She's awesome, though.
She's great. Twice. We've hung out twice now. That's like a real friendship. Real.
I think technically it is.
I think it is. It is, yeah. All right.
All right. You want me to do this?
I would like to hear the beans. Yes, please.
Okay.
Black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, and lima beans, red beans, mung beans, navy beans, and fava beans. Really be nice or really be mean. It's time for Daniel's Cool Beans.
Okay. Trader Joe's organic Great Northern beans made with sea salt. So there they were, these cans of organic Great Northern beans on the shelf with just two other bean types, black, 3 styles, and pinto. Though this critic was unfamiliar with Great Northern beans, organic or non, one must assume that to be placed betwixt two such popular and flavorful varieties, they must deserve their spot for a reason. Great Northern beans. It's quite a name to live up to. So it was with bored anticipation that I uncanned and poured them into my heating pot. The beans were larger than anticipated. Not Lima large, but not Pinto Pequeño either. The broth, it must be stated, was weirdly viscous. I squinted oldly at the ingredients, which listed only organic Great Northern beans, water, and sea salt. Beans mucus, I grumbled, and continued to regret my life choices. The now warmed organic Great Northern beans had a subtle nose, earthy with notes of beans. Still, I thought, there must be delight at the end of the spoon to have earned that coveted, to have earned the name and that coveted placement on Joe's Beans shelf. But no. I spooned them into my disappointed mouth and found nothing but barely salted blandness, the taste of dirt without all the flavor. I mashed them desperately around my tongue, searching in vain for that moment of aha, but it was not to be. Despair set in. And I thought of Joe. Why, Joe? Why these beans? It occurred to me that you don't become Trader Joe by being a business fool. There must be many people out there who buy these, who, I shuddered, enjoy these beans. And despair turned into deep sorrow as I considered who these poor souls might be. Who could be so desperately sad that they'd take a mouth of this flavorless mash and think it good? And as I thought of this wretched, hopelessly miserable person, my wife tried the beans. Oh, they're pretty good, she said. I give them one single poot.
I knew it was heading to that. I mean, they were a little viscous.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
They did lack flavor, but you felt like, oh, I'm eating beans. It had like they were filling.
They definitely gave you the sense that you were eating beans.
But there was like a weird citrusy flavor to them, and I don't know what that was. Because I thought maybe you put in some lime flavor. Or
I had
something.
put some salt in it by the time you. So
you know what? You know what really brought them around? What really brought out the Great Northern beaniness in them?
What?
Take a guess.
The white color.
A few spritzes of I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah, just yeah. They look like little fingertips.
When you put it that way.
They weren't good.
They weren't. So you didn't follow up on how they affected your bathroom situation.
Oh, yeah, it was a mess in the toilet the next day, but light flatulence.
Did you use Beano?
I did. So Beano may have worked.
Yeah.
So I gave it one poot.
This is the lowest ranked bean that you've
Right.
tried so far, right?
Yeah.
Wow, Daniel, that was really good.
Well, I suffer for my art.
I'm going to look up Great Northern beans. Like, do you even know what kind of bean it is?
No. They're in the genus of beans.
It just claims to be its own. Oh, it's a navy bean.
It's a navy bean. Yeah, that's right. That makes sense.
Are navy beans always white?
Sure.
Wait, no. Is there another name for Great Northern beans? Great Northern beans, also called large white beans, are also larger than navy beans but smaller than cannellini beans, with a flattened shape similar to lima beans. They have a delicate flavor. But they're under the navy bean Wikipedia. And by the way, here's a picture of them. It just looks like a bunch of Tylenol. Or a bunch of white
Sure.
Mike and Ike's.
Yeah. I don't need to think about them anymore.
I'm just getting started. There's a bug in here.
Driving us crazy.
It's driving us crazy. I think we did it, Daniel.
Well, I mean, I hope this was a good episode for all of you good people out there. I want to make sure that
People get what they pay for.
I value your time. That's what I want you to know. I value your time.
And I value your spirit and your soul.
Yeah. I just, the whole frustration of the kids stuff just has thrown me. I need to go meditate or something. But
Daniel and I have been invited to a party, to an outdoor birthday party tomorrow, and I'm a little bit nervous.
I'm like freaked out.
You are.
Not really, but I'm definitely. I normally get anxious. If there's any kind of social event on my calendar, even if it's like a good friend, my social anxieties, I have it. Let's just say,
yeah.
But it's heightened now,
right?
More than normal.
And this is someone we like. This person a lot. Well, I don't think Daniel knows her, but we don't know them that well. So it's different than if we were going to like a party where we know everyone. This is, we don't know everyone. I will say I'll say confidently, I don't know anyone. That's right. Jackie Johnson came over and we recorded something. And then the next day I saw my real life friend, Mary Lynn. And both times at the beginning, I was like, everything's happening too fast. Like I need to just take a breath. Like it's weird. There's a sort of sitting across from a human being that's not one of the people I see every single day feels intense and like it's going too fast and like I need to catch my breath. I actually felt nervous. I felt anxious before Jackie came over.
Yeah, the few times I've been with friends and also with Jackie when she was over, it's like I am sure that I'm coming off as like so overly like, hi, like, trying to find reasons to keep them in the room or just like way over eager. Like I'm way too excited about the fact that I'm talking to friends right now. I'm sure this will lessen as we get more accustomed to it. But
yes.
I'm just like, I'm such an eager beaver right now.
Right. And we actually, I should say, I recorded an episode of a Patreon episode for Jackie's Patreon with her. And there was something so nice about it was my first in-person recording aside from recording with you. And it was like, oh my God, we're just having a conversation and recording it.
Yeah.
I mean, we were actually sniffing specific perfumes, but it was so different than how it can feel remote. And we actually have a couple in-person Alison Rosen's Your New Best Friends on the calendar. It is happening.
Yeah. Well, slowly we're all going to get back into it and then realize that we had it pretty good during quarantine.
This might happen.
Yeah.
Not to be your wife who's
I'm
always
kidding,
thinking, but what's going on, Scabby Joe?
Oh, I don't know. What do you mean?
You have a scab. It looks like you've been picking at your wrist and your hand.
No. I don't know. I just wounded myself. No one needs to hear about that. Jesus.
They like to know. They want to know how are your nails? How is your wrist and hand?
Nobody cares.
That's probably true, but I do.
I'll tell you off mic.
All right. Listen, you guys, thank you so much. Well, Daniel, would you like to let them know where they can find you? Plug anything?
You guys, you can find me at Twitter, Instagram, at Daniel Quantz.
Perfect.
That's the place. And, that's where I'll be.
And please, if you like what you're hearing, leave a nice review. It helps out the show. Make sure you're subscribed or following on whatever app you listen on. Follow me on social media at Alison Rosen, on Twitter and Instagram. I'm on Cameo, etc. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show? We had a good time